Winter 2025 is shaping up to be more than just cold. It's looking unpredictable, unstable, and expensive. With heating costs soaring, energy grids under strain, and rolling blackouts already being tested, staying warm and prepared is no longer optional. That's why today's video is crucial. I'm sharing 11 everyday items, cheap, simple, and likely already in your home that can help you stay warm during outages and slash your heating bill. Don't wait for the forecast to fail. Get ahead of it. Hit subscribe and let's dive into how to stay safe, warm, and ready this winter. Heavy-duty thermal curtains, your first line of defense. Hanging in your bedroom or living room, those heavy blackout curtains you've probably overlooked could be your secret weapon this winter. While most people think of them as a way to block out light for better sleep, they're actually a powerful tool for keeping your home warm when the power goes out. These curtains are designed to trap heat, and when used strategically, they can make a significant difference in how much warmth your home retains. Here's the thing, when the heat shuts off, it's not just the cold outside that becomes a problem. It's the cold creeping in through every window, door frame, and crack you didn't even know existed. Windows in particular are notorious for leaking heat even when they're closed. Glass is a terrible insulator, and most homes lose over 30% of their warmth through windows. That's where blackout curtains come in. They don't just block light, they act as a thermal barrier, holding heat inside and stopping drafts before they steal your comfort. But don't stop at just covering your bedroom windows. Smart people use blackout curtains in creative ways to build thermal zones in their home. Hang them over doorways to block off unused rooms, drape them across open hallways, or even use them to section off a single room where you can concentrate your heat sources. By doing this, you're essentially creating a survival zone where warmth is preserved and the cold is kept at bay. The danger of not acting quickly is that you won't notice the warmth slipping away until it's too late. Cold air doesn't announce itself, it seeps in silently, and by the time you feel the chill, your body temperature may already be dropping. That's why it's crucial to think ahead. If you already have blackout curtains, now's the time to dig them out and put them to use. If you don't, consider investing in some before prices spike as winter sets in. When the grid fails, your walls won't save you, but the right curtains just might. 10. Metal tins, the unsung heroes of winter survival. You probably have one sitting in a cabinet somewhere, a shiny metal cookie tin, maybe still holding stale holiday treats or random knick-knack. But what if I told you that tin could be one of the most versatile tools in your winter survival kit? When the power goes out and the temperature drops, that unassuming container can do more than you ever imagined. Metal tins are incredibly useful because they hold heat, resist flames, and reflect energy. This makes them perfect for creating improvised heaters, safe candle setups, and even small thermal traps. For example, you can place a few tea light candles inside a tin, leaving the lid slightly cracked, and you've got a small but effective radiant heat source. It's not going to heat your entire home, but it can warm your hands, heat a mug of water, or keep a small space livable. If you stack two tins with a bit of space between them, you can even create a micro-convection system where heat rises and spreads more efficiently. But the usefulness of metal tins doesn't stop there. They're also excellent for storing and protecting essential supplies like matches, batteries, or medications. In cold, damp conditions, these items can quickly become compromised, but a sealed metal tin keeps them dry and functioning. And unlike plastic containers which can melt or glass jars which can crack, metal tins remain stable even in extreme conditions. During past power outages, many households have used cookie tins to build makeshift candle warmers or to store emergency supplies. It's not glamorous, but it works. The key is to think creatively and repurpose what you already have. So before you toss that old holiday tin, think twice. In a blackout, it's not about how things look, it's about what still works. And a simple metal tin could be the difference between staying warm and being left in the cold. 9. Binder clips. Small tools, big impact. You've probably used binder clips to hold papers together or maybe to seal a bag of chips. But did you know these little clips can be lifesavers when the grid goes down? Sitting quietly in your junk drawer, they're low-key survival tools that can help you protect your home from the creeping cold. When the power fails and the temperature starts to drop, it's not just about generating heat, it's about keeping the heat you already have. That means sealing off rooms, hanging blankets, and creating barriers to stop warm air from escaping. This is where binder clips come in. They're small, sturdy, and incredibly versatile. With a few binder clips, you can turn any blanket into a makeshift curtain, any towel into a draft blocker, or any plastic sheet into a wind barrier. No nails, no hooks, no fancy tools required. For example, you can use binder clips to lock insulation over windows, clamp together overlapping layers of fabric, or hang emergency thermal blankets from shelves, chairs, or broken curtain rods. The beauty of binder clips is their simplicity. They let you act quickly, which is crucial in a cold emergency. The faster you can seal off a room or block a draft, the more warmth you'll retain. The danger of not acting is that you won't notice the cold creeping in until it's too late. Every uncovered window, every gap above a door, every loose edge of fabric is an invitation for warmth to escape. And once it's gone, getting it back is far harder than preventing it from leaving in the first place. Binder clips cost pennies, weigh almost nothing, and can be found in most dollar stores. But in the middle of a blackout, they give you control over your environment. So stock up now, because when the temperature drops, you'll be glad you did.
8. Yoga mats. The unexpected insulation hero. Most people think of yoga mats as tools for fitness, stretching, sweating, and perfecting their downward dog. But that rolled up mat collecting dust in your garage or closet, it's actually one of the most underrated winter survival tools you own. When the power goes out and the floor turns icy, a yoga mat can be the difference between staying warm and freezing. Yoga mats are typically made of closed-cell foam, the same material used in camping pads and thermal insulation. This means they don't just cushion your body, they block cold and trap heat. When placed on the floor, a yoga mat acts as a barrier, preventing the chill from seeping into your bones while you sleep, sit, or even stand. And in a blackout, when every degree of warmth counts, that's a game changer. Smart people know how to repurpose yoga mats for maximum impact. Cut them into strips to line windowsills or tape them under door gaps to block drafts. Layer them beneath sleeping bags or emergency beds to create a thermal barrier. You can even roll them into tight coils and tuck them inside jackets for added insulation. The key is to think of the mat not as a fitness tool but as raw material for survival. The risk of ignoring floor chill is that you won't notice it until it's too late. Your feet might go numb, your back might stiffen, and before you know it, your core temperature is dropping. In emergency shelters and frozen homes across the country, families have quietly used yoga mats to outlast freezing nights. It's not about luxury, it's about survival. So dig out that old yoga mat, because this winter, it's not just for fitness, it's for staying warm when nothing else does.
7. Insulated vacuum flasks. Your portable heat vault. That trusty vacuum flask sitting in your kitchen cabinet, the one you use for coffee or tea on the go, might just be your secret weapon this winter. While most people think of it as a convenience for keeping drinks warm, in a blackout it transforms into a survival tool that can help you stay warm and stave off hypothermia. When the power goes out and the cold starts creeping in, your ability to retain heat becomes a matter of survival, and a vacuum flask is designed to do just that. The magic of a vacuum flask lies in its double-walled insulation, which locks in heat for hours, sometimes up to 12. This means that if you're lucky enough to boil water once during a power outage, you can store it in your flask and have warm drinks, soups, or even hot water for washing throughout the night. It's not just about convenience, it's about extending the life of your heat source when resources are limited. In freezing conditions, every sip of a warm drink can help stabilize your core temperature, reduce shivering, and improve blood circulation, especially for vulnerable groups like seniors or children. But here's the hidden danger. Most people assume they'll just heat things as needed. The reality is, when the power's out, as needed often turns into too late. Your body starts losing heat faster than you realize, and by the time you feel the chill, you've already lost precious time to fight back. That's why preppers and survivalists swear by vacuum flask. They preload warmth, hold it tight, and buy you time when nothing else will. So don't treat your vacuum flask like just another kitchen gadget. Treat it like a piece of winter armor. Stock up on a few if you can, and make sure they're ready to go before the first storm hits. Because in a blackout, heat isn't just a luxury, it's a strategy for survival. 6. Canned heat, the compact powerhouse for winter survival. You've probably seen those small cans of chafing fuel at buffets, quietly keeping trays of food warm. But what if I told you that same canned heat could be the difference between a freezing night and a livable one when the power goes out? These unassuming tins, often labeled as sterno or chafing fuel, are one of the most overlooked yet effective tools for off-grid heating and cooking. Canned heat is incredibly simple to use. It burns clean, burns hot, and burns for hours. All you need is a match and a safe surface. In a blackout, when your stove is useless and your microwave is just a silent box, canned heat becomes your go-to fuel source. You can use it to heat a bowl of soup, boil water for tea, or even warm your hands. It's quiet, portable, and doesn't rely on electricity or batteries, making it an ideal backup for emergencies. What most people don't realize is how critical warm food and drinks are during a winter blackout. When the cold sets in and you stop consuming hot meals, your body's ability to generate heat diminishes. Digestion slows, blood flow weakens, and your core temperature starts to drop. The invisible danger here is that you might think hunger is your biggest issue. But in reality, it's the loss of internal heat that puts you at risk. One cold meal or drink can set off a chain reaction that leaves you vulnerable to hypothermia. That's why smart preppers stock up on canned heat. It doesn't expire, takes up minimal space, and is ready to use at a moment's notice. During past winter blackouts, families have relied on these small cans to cook meals, warm rooms, and even create makeshift heaters. So the next time you see a dusty shelf of canned heat at the store, don't walk past it, grab a few, because in winter 2025, backup heat won't just be a convenience, it'll be a necessity.
5 plastic shower caps, the unexpected winter barrier. At first glance, plastic shower caps might seem like throwaway items. Flimsy, crinkly, and good for little more than keeping your hair dry. But in a winter blackout, these unassuming caps can become a surprisingly effective tool for staying warm. Smart preppers have been quietly using them for years to fight off the cold, and once you understand how, you'll never look at them the same way again. The key to their effectiveness lies in their ability to trap heat and block moisture. When the temperature drops, it's not just the cold air that's your enemy, it's the way it steals your body's warmth and dries out your skin. Shower caps act as a barrier, sealing in heat and preventing moisture from evaporating, which can rapidly cool your body. They're especially useful when layered over wool socks, around gloved hands, or even inside boots. That extra layer of plastic creates a windproof, waterproof shield that keeps your extremities warm and dry. The danger of not addressing this is that you might feel warm enough initially, but as you sweat, the moisture chills and your body starts losing heat faster than it can generate it. This is the silent killer of wet cold. It sneaks up on you, and by the time you notice, it's often too late. Shower caps, though simple and inexpensive, provide an extra layer of protection that can make all the difference. Survivalists love them because they're lightweight, cheap, and incredibly versatile. You can pack a dozen in your emergency kit without taking up any space, and they can be used in countless ways, from insulating your hands and feet to covering small items that need to stay dry. So the next time you see a pack of shower caps at the dollar store, grab them. In the cold, even the simplest tools can have the biggest impact. 4 cardboard boxes, the overlooked insulation champion. Cardboard boxes are one of those everyday items that most people don't think twice about. You break them down, toss them in the recycling, or maybe keep 1 or 2 for packing. But in a winter blackout, when the heat is gone and the temperature starts to plummet, those dusty cardboard boxes could become your best friend. They're not just for storage, they're for survival. The secret to cardboard's effectiveness lies in its structure. Made of layered fiber sheets filled with air pockets, cardboard acts as a natural insulator. It traps heat and creates a barrier against the cold, making it an incredibly useful material for keeping warm. Smart people know how to repurpose cardboard in creative ways. For example, you can cut it open and line the floors under blankets to block the chill from below. You can use it to box in bedding, creating a heat-retaining shell that keeps you warmer through the night. Some even turn small boxes into hand-warming chambers by placing candles or hot water bottles inside. In extreme situations, large appliance boxes can be transformed into DIY bed tents. Line them with quilts or blankets and you've got a makeshift shelter that holds body heat far better than an open room. It might not be glamorous, but when the temperature drops, it's about survival, not aesthetic. The danger of ignoring this resource is that you might think you're warm enough until the cold starts creeping in from below. Your mattress might feel fine at first, but as the night goes on, the chill from the floor can sap your body heat. During the Texas freeze of 2021, some families used cardboard to create sleeping enclosures and stayed warmer than those relying on electric blankets they couldn't plug in. So don't look at that pile of cardboard as trash. Look at it as a tool, because when the power goes out and the cold sets in, it won't be your thermostat that saves you. It'll be the scraps you almost threw away. 3 wire hangers, the forgotten multi-tool for winter survival. Wire hangers, those cheap, bent loops of metal hiding in your closet, are often overlooked. But when winter hits hard and the grid goes down, they can become one of the most versatile tools in your home. While they're usually relegated to holding yesterday's shirts, smart preppers know that these unassuming hangers can be repurposed in countless ways to help you stay warm, organized, and prepared during a blackout. One of the most practical uses for wire hangers is as makeshift drying racks. When the power is out and your clothes are damp, drying them quickly becomes a priority. Wet clothing pulls heat away from your body, making you feel colder and increasing your risk of hypothermia. By bending a wire hanger into a frame and suspending it above a candle or near a heat source, you can dry socks, gloves, or other small items before they freeze. This simple trick can make a huge difference in keeping your body temperature stable. Wire hangers are also incredibly useful for handling hot items. Twist one into a skewer or a hook, and you've got a tool for lifting hot pots, poking at a fire, or even rigging a makeshift cooking setup. If you need to secure a blanket or curtain over a window to block drafts, A wire hanger can act as a sturdy clip or fastener, and if you're trying to create a DIY clothesline in your living room to dry larger items, a few hangers and some string can get the job done in minutes. But the usefulness of wire hangers doesn't stop there. They can be bent into loops to organize gear, fashioned into hooks to hang supplies, or even used to retrieve lost items from hard-to-reach places. In a pinch, you can straighten one out to create a temporary antenna or use it as a needle for stitching fabric. The possibilities are endless, and in a survival situation, adaptability is everything. The hidden danger of not having tools like wire hangers on hand is that you might not realize how quickly the cold can immobilize you. As your body temperature drops, your hands lose dexterity, making it harder to perform even simple tasks. Wire hangers might not seem like much, but they can give you the edge you need to stay mobile and resourceful when it matters most. So the next time you're tempted to toss those old wire hangers in favor of plastic ones, think again. Keep a few close, because in a winter emergency, they're not just clutter, they're lifelines. 2 paper grocery bags. Nature's insulation in disguise. Paper grocery bags might seem like the last thing you'd turn to in a winter blackout, but these humble, crinkly sheets of thick paper are actually one of the smartest insulation tools you already have at home. While most people see them as disposable, smart preppers know that paper bags are filled with tiny air pockets that make them surprisingly effective at trapping heat and blocking cold drafts. When the power goes out and the temperature starts to drop, your first priority is to retain as much body heat as possible. Paper bags can help you do just that. Line them between blankets to create an extra layer of insulation, or tape them over windows to block drafts and prevent heat from escaping. You can even wrap them around your feet, inside your socks, to keep your toes warm and dry. The fibrous material of paper bags doesn't conduct heat, which means it slows down heat loss and helps you stay warmer for longer. But the usefulness of paper bags doesn't stop there. They can be layered under clothing, between thermal shirts and jackets, to reinforce your body's natural heat retention. In extreme cases, you can even use them to create makeshift sleeping mats or line the floor under your bedding to block the chill from below. During the Texas winter storm of 2021, many families reported using paper bags to insulate their homes, lining windows, floors, and even air vents to keep the cold at bay. It wasn't glamorous, but it worked. The invisible danger of not using insulation like paper bags is that you won't notice how quickly heat escapes from your home until it's too late. Cold drafts can pull warmth out of your body faster than you realize, and once your core temperature starts to drop, it's a steep uphill battle to recover. Paper bags might not look like much, but in a blackout, they can be the difference between staying warm and succumbing to the cold. So the next time you unpack your groceries, don't toss those paper bags in the recycling bin. Fold them, stack them, and keep them handy, because when the grid fails and the cold starts creeping in, it won't be your fancy gear that saves you. It'll be the simple, overlooked items that still work when nothing else does. 1. Hand warmers. The pocket-sized heat source that saves lives. Hand warmers might seem like a small, disposable luxury, something you grab at the last minute before a ski trip or find forgotten in the bottom of a coat pocket. But when the power goes out and the winter wind starts to bite, these little packets of warmth can become your best defense against the slow, silent breakdown of body heat. In a blackout where every degree of warmth matters, hand warmers are more than just a convenience. They're a survival tool. The science behind hand warmers is simple but effective. These small packets contain a mix of iron powder, salt, and activated charcoal that, when exposed to air, produce steady, radiant heat for up to 10. They don't require batteries, flames, or any preparation. Just open the packet and they're ready to go. This makes them an ideal solution for keeping your extremities warm when the temperature drops. What most people don't realize is how quickly the cold can affect your hands and feet. As your body prioritizes keeping your core warm, blood flow to your extremities decreases, causing your fingers and toes to stiffen and lose dexterity. This might not seem like a big deal at first, but in a survival situation, it can quickly become a crisis. Without functional hands, you can't open canned food, strike a match, or even zip up your coat. Hand warmers help prevent this by maintaining circulation and keeping your extremities functional. But here's the key. Don't just use 1 or 2 hand warmers and think you're covered. In a blackout, you need to think strategically. Place 1 in each glove, 1 in your boots, and 1 near your chest or kidneys to help maintain your core temperature. This multi-point approach ensures that your entire body stays warm and functional, not just your hand. The hidden danger of not using tools like hand warmers is that you won't notice the cold taking over until it's too late. Your grip weakens, your joints stiffen, and suddenly, even the simplest tasks become impossible. That's why seasoned preppers buy hand warmers in bulk. They're lightweight, shelf-stable, and don't rely on electricity or fuel, making them one of the most reliable heat sources you can have in an emergency. So the next time you see a value pack of hand warmers at the store, grab a few, because in a real winter emergency, survival doesn't come down to strength. It comes down to what you can still hold on to. And with warm hands, you can hold on longer.